The hotel room key card slipped from Lily's fingers and hit the marble floor with a sound that seemed impossibly loud in the empty hallway. Through the crack in the door, she could see them. Her fiancé Derek and her sister Rachel, tangled together in the bed that was supposed to be for Derek's bachelor party weekend. The bed Lily had paid for. In the hotel suite Lily had reserved. 2 days before the wedding Lily had funded. Rachel's laughter echoed through the suite, that high-pitched performative laugh she used when she wanted attention. You should have seen her face when I told her I'd be her maid of honor. Like I was doing her some huge favor. Derek's voice came next, lower but clear enough. 2 more days and it's done. After the wedding, we'll have access to everything. Her accounts, her investments, the house. Then we can figure out how to cut her loose without losing the money. Lily stood frozen in that hallway, her hand still extended toward the door she'd been about to knock on, trying to surprise her fiancé with his favorite takeout before tomorrow's rehearsal dinner. The bag of Thai food hung heavy in her other hand, the smell of pad Thai suddenly making her nauseous. My name is Lily Chun, and I'm 31 years old. 48 hours ago, I thought I knew exactly how my life was going to unfold. I had a fiancé who loved me, a sister who supported me, and a wedding that would finally bring my fractured family together. I was wrong about everything. She should have known something was off. The signs had been there for months. Small things she'd explained away because she wanted so desperately to believe in the fairy tale. Derek's phone face down on every surface. Rachel's sudden interest in spending time with them as a couple after years of barely speaking to Lily. The way they'd look at each other across the dinner table was something Lily had mistaken for sibling bonding but now recognized as something far more calculated. 3 months ago, Rachel had shown up at Lily's downtown loft unannounced, mascara running, claiming their mother had kicked her out again. Lily had let her stay in the guest room, paid off her credit card debt, helped her find a job at a marketing firm through Lily's own connections. And Rachel had repaid that kindness by sleeping with Derek in every room of the apartment Lily owned outright. She's so pathetic, Rachel said now, her voice floating through the cracked door. Always trying to buy people's love. Daddy issues, you know? He left when we were kids and she's been overcompensating ever since. Derek laughed. Works for me. That trust fund money spent real nice on this ring. There was a pause, then the unmistakable sound of kissing. You wear it better anyway. Lily looked down at her left hand, at the engagement ring that had cost $47,000. The ring she'd helped Derek pick out, insisted on paying for because she made 10 times his salary and wanted him to feel comfortable. The ring he'd proposed with on a beach in Bali during a vacation she'd also funded. She'd met Derek 2 years ago at a tech conference where she was speaking on a panel about venture capital. He'd approached her after, charming and handsome, a sales director for a mid-level software company. On their 3rd date, he told her he appreciated that she was successful, that he wasn't intimidated by a woman who earned more. She thought she'd finally found a man who loved her for who she was, not despite her success, but because of it. Every red flag had an explanation she'd wanted to believe. When he quit his job 6 months ago to focus on his startup idea, Lily had supported him financially. When he'd suggested they combine bank accounts after the wedding, for simplicity, she'd agreed, thinking it showed trust. When Rachel had asked to be maid of honor despite their rocky history, Lily had been touched, interpreting it as an olive branch. Now, standing in this hallway with Thai food going cold in her hands, and her entire future crumbling behind a hotel room door, Lily understood exactly how stupid she'd been. What about the prenup? Rachel asked, and Lily's blood went cold. There isn't one, Derek said, and Lily could hear the smugness in his voice. I told her prenups were for people who don't trust each other. She ate it up. Once we're married, half of everything is mine. Community property, baby. That wasn't entirely true. Lily thought with the part of her brain that was still functioning analytically. Her trust fund and inheritance were protected. Her company shares were separate property. But Derek didn't know that because Lily had never corrected his assumptions. She'd let him think she was just another successful professional with a nice salary. Not the daughter of one of Silicon Valley's most successful venture capitalists. Not the woman who sat on 3 corporate boards and held equity in 17 startups. And she actually thinks you love her? Rachel's voice dripped with mockery. God, Lily always was gullible. Remember when we were kids, and I convinced her that Mom loved me more? She cried for a week. Their mother did love Rachel more, or at least she'd always seemed to. Rachel was beautiful in an obvious way, blonde and blue-eyed like their mother's side of the family, while Lily had inherited their absent father's Chinese features. Rachel had been homecoming queen, prom queen, the golden child who could do no wrong even when she was stealing money from their mother's purse or crashing the family car. And Lily had been the quiet one, the smart one, the one who studied too much and cared too little about fitting in. But Lily had built something Rachel could never touch. She'd graduated from Stanford at 20, had her MBA at 22, made her first million at 25. She'd proven every doubt wrong, exceeded every expectation, built a life so successful that even their mother had to acknowledge it, however grudgingly. And now her own sister was in bed with her fiancé, plotting to take it all away. Lily bent down slowly, picked up the key card from the floor. Her hands weren't shaking anymore. Something cold and clear had settled over her, something that felt almost like calm but sharper, more focused. She stood up straight, smoothed down her designer pantsuit, the navy blue Armani she'd bought specifically for tomorrow's rehearsal dinner. Then she did something that surprised even herself. She knocked on the door. The sounds from inside stopped immediately. Scrambling. Whispered panic. Lily knocked again, louder this time, and called out in the sweetest voice she could manage. Derek, baby, it's me. I brought food. More scrambling, then Derek's voice trying to sound casual and failing. Lily, what are you doing here? Surprising you, she said, still in that artificially sweet tone. Open up. The door swung open, and there was Derek, shirtless, his hair disheveled, wearing only his jeans hastily buttoned. Behind him, Lily could see Rachel's silhouette ducking into the bathroom, could see her dress crumpled on the floor next to Derek's shirt. Derek's face went through several expressions in rapid succession. Shock, guilt, fear, and then, surprisingly, something like relief. Actually, he said, and his voice had changed, become harder. This is probably good timing. We need to talk. Lily tilted her head, still holding the bag of Thai food. We do? Yeah. Derek stepped back, ran a hand through his hair. Come in. You should sit down. She walked into the suite she'd reserved and paid for, set the takeout bag on the table she'd approved, and turned to face the man she'd planned to marry in 48 hours. Rachel emerged from the bathroom wearing Derek's shirt, her lipstick smudged, her expression defiant rather than ashamed. Hi, Lily, Rachel said. Not I'm sorry. Not, this isn't what it looks like. Just, hi, like she'd been caught doing something mildly inappropriate, like leaving dishes in the sink or borrowing a sweater without asking. Lily looked at her sister, really looked at her. At 28, Rachel was still beautiful, but there was something hard around her eyes now, something bitter in the set of her mouth. She'd never managed to build anything lasting, had bounced from job to job, relationship to relationship, always finding someone else to blame when things fell apart. I think you should know, Derek said, and he actually had the audacity to sound self-righteous. Rachel and I have fallen in love. Real love. Not whatever we had. If Lily had been holding anything breakable, she might have thrown it. Instead, she just stared at him. This man she'd supported, encouraged and funded for 2 years, trying to figure out when exactly she'd become so blind. The wedding's off, Derek continued. Obviously, we'll make an announcement tomorrow. You can keep the deposits, I know how much you spent. He said it like he was being generous, like he wasn't the one cheating 2 days before their wedding. How long? Lily asked quietly. Derek and Rachel exchanged a glance. Rachel answered, Does it matter? How long? Lily repeated, and this time her voice had edges. 6 months, Derek said. Since Rachel moved in with you. 6 months. Half a year of coming home to them, having dinner together, watching movies together, laughing at inside jokes Lily wasn't part of. Half a year of Rachel sleeping in the guest room. Or so Lily had thought, when she'd actually been creeping into Lily's bedroom after Lily fell asleep, stealing her fiancé in the apartment Lily had welcomed her into. You're pathetic, you know that? Rachel said suddenly, her voice sharp. Always trying to buy people. You bought Derek with your money, just like you tried to buy Mom's love, just like you tried to buy mine. Well, guess what? Some things can't be bought. Lily felt something crack inside her chest. Something that had already been fractured but now splintered completely. Get out of my hotel room. It's Derek's room, Rachel shot back. No, Lily said, and her voice was steady now, cold. It's my room. I booked it. I paid for it. Everything in this hotel is paid for by me. The rehearsal dinner tomorrow, paid for by me. The wedding on Saturday, every flower, every chair, every piece of silverware paid for by me. The honeymoon in Greece paid for by me. This entire weekend, this entire relationship apparently, was paid for by me. She pulled out her phone, opened her banking app, and started tapping. So here's what's going to happen. I'm canceling my credit card. Right now. The one attached to this room. To the wedding. To everything. You have 30 minutes before hotel security removes you from the premises. Derek's face went pale. You can't do that. Watch me. Lily hit the final button on her phone. Done. Enjoy explaining to the front desk why your room is suddenly unpaid. She turned to walk out, but Rachel's voice stopped her. You're really going to humiliate yourself like this? Cancel your own wedding? Everyone's going to know you got dumped. Lily paused in the doorway and looked back at her sister one last time. You're right. Everyone will know. And when they do, I wonder what else they'll find out. She left them there, standing in a hotel room that would be locked within the hour, and walked down the hallway with her head high and her heart shattered and something dangerous brewing in her mind. Because Rachel and Derek had made one critical mistake in their calculations. They'd assumed Lily would be too embarrassed, too heartbroken, too desperate to save face to do anything but quietly accept their betrayal. They'd forgotten that the woman they'd just destroyed wasn't the same girl Rachel had bullied in childhood. This Lily had built an empire. This Lily had resources they couldn't imagine. This Lily had precisely 48 hours to turn their victory into their worst nightmare. And she was going to use every single one of those hours. If this story is making you feel something, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Because what happens next will show you exactly why you should never underestimate a woman who's been pushed too far. Lily didn't go home that night. She couldn't face the apartment where Rachel had been sleeping in her guest room while plotting her destruction. Where Derek had proposed to her on one knee in the living room while apparently already sleeping with her sister. Instead, she checked into a different hotel across town, a boutique place she'd stayed at for business conferences, and sat on the bed staring at her phone. 372 unread messages. Most of them were in the wedding group chat Rachel had created, full of excited bridesmaids asking about last-minute details. A few were from Derek's groomsmen confirming tux pickups. Several were from vendors confirming arrival times for Saturday. The wedding was supposed to be in 46 hours now. Lily opened her laptop and pulled up the spreadsheet she created to track wedding expenses. She was methodical about money, always had been, a habit formed from watching their mother struggle after their father disappeared. Every dollar accounted for, every receipt saved, every contract reviewed 3 times before signing. The total at the bottom made her feel sick. $287,000. Venue rental at the Ashford estate, $45,000. Catering for 200 guests, $38,000. Photography and videography package, $15,000. Floral arrangements, $22,000. Designer wedding dress, currently hanging in her closet with the tags still on, $12,000. Band, $18,000. Open bar, $25,000. Honeymoon package to Santorini, $28,000. And on, line after line of expenses that represented not just money but months of planning. Countless hours of decision-making, dreams of a future that had been a lie. Every single expense was in her name. Every deposit made from her accounts. Her phone buzzed. A text from Rachel. Don't be dramatic. We can still be sisters. Lily stared at those words for a long moment, then blocked the number. Another text came through, this time from Derek. I know you're upset, but this is for the best. You deserve someone who actually loves you. We can talk about dividing stuff up next week. Dividing stuff up. Like their relationship had been a business partnership that simply didn't work out, not a betrayal that had gutted her. She blocked his number too. Then her phone rang. Unknown number. Lily almost didn't answer, but something made her pick up. Miss Chun? A woman's voice, professional and cautious. This is Amanda Reeves from Ashford Estate. I'm calling because we've received some concerning information. Lily's stomach dropped. What kind of information? Someone claiming to be your wedding planner called to say the event is cancelled and requesting a full refund. But our contract clearly states that cancellations within 48 hours forfeit the deposit and incur a 50% fee on the remaining balance. I wanted to confirm with you directly before processing anything. Wedding planner. Lily had hired someone, yes, but she hadn't spoken to her since yesterday. Can you tell me who called? Rachel Morrison. She said she was handling the cancellation on your behalf. Rachel hadn't even waited until morning. She was already trying to recoup money, probably planning to pocket whatever refunds she could manipulate out of vendors by impersonating Lily or the wedding planner. Miss Reeves, Lily said carefully. Rachel Morrison is not authorized to make any changes to my contract. In fact, I need to update my account to ensure she has no access whatsoever. Can we do that now? Of course. And Miss Chun, if you don't mind me asking, is the wedding still happening? Lily looked at her spreadsheet, at the hundreds of thousands of dollars she'd spent on a celebration of a love that had never existed. No, she said quietly. The wedding is cancelled. But I need to be the one to handle it on my terms. After she hung up, Lily spent the next 3 hours calling every single vendor. Florist, caterer, photographer, band, cake designer, transportation company. With each call, she learned the same thing. Rachel had been busy. She'd contacted almost everyone, spinning different stories. To some, she'd said Lily had a family emergency. To others, she'd claimed Lily was too distraught to handle things herself. To the cake designer, she'd actually said Lily had been in an accident, all of it designed to extract refunds that Rachel could intercept. But here's what Rachel didn't know. Lily had been in business long enough to understand the value of relationships. She'd been kind to every vendor, professional, appreciative. She'd paid deposits early, responded to emails promptly, treated everyone with respect. And now, when she called to explain that someone was impersonating her, trying to scam refunds, every single vendor believed her immediately. I'm so sorry this is happening to you, the florist said. What can I do to help? Just don't process any requests that don't come directly from me, Lily said. And if Rachel contacts you again, please let me know. By 3 a.m, Lily had secured all her vendor contracts, added password protections to every account, and documented every fraudulent call Rachel had made. She'd also discovered something interesting. Derek had called the honeymoon resort, trying to change the reservation to his and Rachel's names. The resort had refused because the booking was non-transferable, but they'd noted his request in the file. Which meant Derek and Rachel had been planning this for a while, long enough to think through logistics like honeymoons and vendor refunds. Lily's phone buzzed again. This time it was a screenshot from her cousin Jennifer, who was supposed to be a bridesmaid. The image showed a group chat Lily wasn't part of, one apparently created by Rachel. Rachel's message read, "Hey guys, sad news. Lily and Derek decided to call off the wedding. She's really embarrassed about it and doesn't want to talk to anyone. Let's give her space but maybe send some encouraging texts. She's going through a lot right now." Underneath, responses from bridesmaids. Oh no, poor Lily. I knew something was off. Derek seemed distant at the bachelorette party. Should we still meet for brunch on Saturday? Support her? Rachel's response. Actually, she asked me to cancel the brunch. She wants to be alone. But I'll keep everyone updated on how she's doing. Jennifer's text to Lily said, Something feels off about this. Rachel's being weird. Are you okay? Lily typed back. Can you meet me tomorrow morning? I need to tell you something. Jennifer responded immediately. Where and when? I'll be there. At least someone in her family still had sense. Lily finally fell asleep around 4 a.m. and woke up 3 hours later to her phone exploding with notifications. She grabbed it grudgingly and felt her blood pressure spike. Derek had posted on social media a carefully cropped photo of him and Rachel at a coffee shop, her hand on his arm, both of them smiling at each other. The caption, "Sometimes love finds you in unexpected places." Grateful for second chances and honest feelings. The comments were already rolling in. Wait, isn't this Lily's sister? Didn't you just get engaged to Lily? This is messy. But there were also comments from people who didn't know the full story. You deserve happiness. Beautiful couple. Congratulations. Rachel had commented. When you know, Lily felt rage burn through her exhaustion. They weren't just betraying her. They were rewriting the narrative, making it look like some romantic star-crossed lovers situation instead of what it actually was. Calculated, cruel betrayal. Her phone rang. Her mother. Lily briefly considered not answering, but that would only make things worse. Lily Marie Chen, what on earth is going on? Her mother's voice was sharp, accusatory. I just saw Derek's post. Rachel called me crying, saying you're trying to keep them apart. Of course Rachel had called their mother first. Of course she'd spun it to make herself the victim. Mom, Derek and I are not getting married. He's been having an affair with Rachel for 6 months. Silence. Then, Rachel said you'd say something like that. She said you've been very stressed with work and you're lashing out because you're scared of commitment. Lily closed her eyes. This was exactly how it had always been. Rachel could do no wrong. Rachel's version was always the truth. I caught them in bed together, Mom, in the hotel room I paid for. Well, maybe if you'd been more attentive to your relationship instead of always working, Derek wouldn't have looked elsewhere. Her mother's words were knives. Casual cruelty wrapped in concern. Rachel said he felt neglected. And honestly, Lily, you do work too much. When was the last time you took a real vacation? I was planning to take one, Lily said flatly. On my honeymoon. That I paid for. You're always throwing money around, her mother continued, as if Lily hadn't spoken. You think you can buy people, buy happiness. Maybe this is a lesson you needed to learn. Lily hung up, just pressed the red button and ended the call. Something she'd never done before. Her mother called back immediately. Lily declined it. 3 more calls came through. Lily turned off her phone completely. She sat in the hotel room in her pajamas, in a bed that cost $400 a night, in a life she'd built from nothing, and felt completely alone. But then she remembered something her father had told her once. In one of the few memories she still had of him before he left. She'd been 7 years old, crying because kids at school had made fun of her for bringing rice and dumplings for lunch instead of sandwiches. Lily, he'd said, kneeling down to her level. People will always try to make you feel small because it makes them feel big. Don't ever shrink yourself to make others comfortable. And when someone shows you who they really are, believe them the first time. Rachel and Derek had shown her exactly who they were. Greedy. Cruel. Small people who thought they could take everything she'd built and leave her with nothing but humiliation. They'd forgotten one crucial detail. Lily hadn't built her success by being weak. She'd built it by being smarter, more determined, more strategic than everyone who'd underestimated her. And she had 42 hours until what was supposed to be her wedding day. 42 hours to show them the difference between buying people and investing in their own destruction. Lily met Jennifer at a quiet cafe downtown at 9 the next morning. Her cousin arrived looking concerned, carrying 2 large coffees and a folder that looked suspiciously organized. Before you say anything, Jennifer said, sliding into the booth, I need you to know that Rachel's version of events doesn't add up. I've known you your whole life, and I've watched her manipulate people since we were kids. So just tell me the truth. Lily told her everything. The hotel room, the conversation she'd overheard, the 6 months of lies, the vendor calls, the social media post, even their mother's phone call. Jennifer listened without interrupting, her expression growing darker with each detail. When Lily finished, Jennifer opened her folder. I thought something was wrong, so I did some digging. Look at this. Inside were printed screenshots. Text messages between Rachel and their mutual cousin, bragging about landing a rich guy. Instagram DMs where Rachel discussed the plan with friends Lily had never met. Bank statements, somehow obtained, showing transfers from Derek's account to Rachel's going back 7 months. How did you get these? Lily asked. Rachel's not as careful as she thinks she is. She left her laptop open at Mom's house last month, and I have trust issues and good timing. Jennifer smiled grimly. Also, Derek's roommate from college is my friend's boyfriend. Apparently, Derek's been telling people for months that he was going to marry rich and retire early. Direct quote. Lily stared at the evidence spread across the table. It was worse than she'd thought. This wasn't just an affair that had developed over time. This was premeditated from the start. There's more, Jennifer said. I called your wedding planner. The real one. Melissa Chang. She said Rachel tried to get vendor lists from her 3 weeks ago, claiming she was planning a surprise for you. Melissa didn't give her anything, but she thought it was weird. Rachel's been planning to cancel and steal refunds for weeks, Lily said slowly. She probably thought if the wedding fell apart, she could intercept the money before I even knew what was happening. Exactly. And look at this. Jennifer pulled out another document. Rachel applied for a credit card using your information last month. It was denied because you have fraud alerts on your credit. But she tried. Identity fraud. Attempted theft. 6 months of calculated deception. Lily felt something shift inside her. Something cold settling into absolute clarity. I need to show you something. She pulled out her own phone and opened a banking app Jennifer had never seen before. The one connected to her trust fund, her investment accounts, her real net worth. Jennifer's eyes widened as she saw the numbers. Lily, is that? My father wasn't just some guy who abandoned us, Lily said quietly. He was David Chin, as in Chen Ventures, one of the largest venture capital firms in Silicon Valley. He didn't abandon me, Mom. He left Mom because she was having an affair with Rachel's father. I was 5. Mom got remarried, had Rachel, then that fell apart too. She spent my whole life telling me he was a deadbeat who didn't want me. Jennifer's mouth fell open. But he tried to stay in my life. Mom blocked him at every turn, even got a restraining order based on lies. By the time I was old enough to find him myself, I was 18 and angry. We reconnected when I was 23, right before he died of a heart attack. He left me everything because I was his only child. Does Rachel know? No. Mom doesn't even know the full extent. She knows I have money, thinks I'm just successful at my job. She has no idea that I own equity in half the companies she uses every day, that I sit on boards with people she watches on television, that I could buy Derek's entire lifestyle 10 times over without checking my account balance. Lily pulled up another app. And this is the important part. Every single wedding vendor, every contract, every expense, it's all documented, tracked, and legally binding. Rachel and Derek think they're dealing with someone who'll be too embarrassed to fight back. They have no idea what they've actually done. Jennifer leaned back, a slow smile spreading across her face. You're going to destroy them. I'm going to let them destroy themselves, Lily corrected. I'm just going to make sure everyone's watching when they do it. They spent the next 2 hours planning. Jennifer knew everyone in their extended family, understood the social dynamics, could predict exactly how people would react to different information. Together, they built a strategy that was elegant in its simplicity. Lily wouldn't cancel the wedding. She would let it proceed exactly as planned. Every vendor would show up, every guest would arrive, and Derek and Rachel would get exactly what they thought they wanted. A public humiliation of Lily Chen. Except it wouldn't be Lily who ended up humiliated. What about your mom? Jennifer asked carefully. What about her? She's going to side with Rachel no matter what. You know that, right? Lily did know. She'd known it her whole life. Their mother had always favored Rachel, the daughter who looked like her, who reminded her of the life she'd wanted instead of the one she'd gotten. Lily, with her Asian features and her father's intelligence, had always been the reminder of her first failure. I'm done trying to win her approval, Lily said. I'm 31 years old, and I've built a life she could never understand or appreciate. If she wants to believe Rachel's version of events, that's her choice. Jennifer reached across the table and squeezed her hand. For what it's worth, you're not alone in this. I've got your back. After Jennifer left, Lily returned to her hotel room and made a series of phone calls. First to Melissa Chang, her actual wedding planner. Melissa, I need you to do something that's going to sound insane. After the week I've had dealing with your sister's calls, nothing sounds insane anymore. Melissa replied dryly. I need the wedding to proceed exactly as planned. Every detail, every vendor, everything. Can you make that happen? Silence. Then, Lily, I need to be very clear about what you're asking. You want me to execute a full wedding for a marriage that isn't happening? Yes, that's going to cost you the full amount, no refunds. Plus overtime fees for the changes this close to the event. I understand. Another pause. Can I ask why? Because Derek and Rachel are expecting me to cancel everything in shame and humiliation. I'm going to give them a wedding instead. And then I'm going to make sure they never forget it. Melissa was quiet for a long moment. I've been doing this job for 15 years. I've seen a lot of drama, a lot of canceled weddings, a lot of family chaos. But I have never, ever been asked to do something like this. Is that a no? That's a hell yes. What do you need from me? They spent an hour on the phone, adjusting details, coordinating timing, making sure every element would work perfectly. When they hung up, Lily felt the first real smile cross her face in 24 hours. Next, she called her attorney Marcus Webb, a man who'd handled her father's estate and had become something of a mentor. Lily, I heard about the wedding. I'm so sorry. Don't be sorry yet. I need you to do something for me. She explained the situation. The affair, the attempted fraud, Rachel's identity theft attempt, Derek's plans to access her accounts after marriage. Marcus listened without interrupting, and when she finished, he let out a low whistle. You could press charges for the identity theft alone. And the attempted vendor fraud is actionable. I know. But I want to wait. I want everything to come out at once, where everyone can see it. Lily, I have to advise you that public humiliation, while satisfying, isn't always the best legal strategy. I'm not interested in the best legal strategy, Lily said. I'm interested in making sure Derek and Rachel understand exactly what they tried to steal and exactly why they failed. Can you help me or not? Marcus chuckled. Your father would be proud. Yes, I can help. What do you need? By the end of the day, Lily had assembled a team. Jennifer for family intelligence, Melissa for event coordination, Marcus for legal protection, and one more person she hadn't expected. Amanda Reeves from Ashford Estate called her that evening. Miss Chen, I hope I'm not overstepping, but I wanted you to know something. Your sister came to the estate today, demanding to speak with management. She tried to convince our events director that she was taking over the wedding planning because you were having a breakdown. What did you tell her? I told her that you'd already confirmed everything with me personally this morning, and that she needed to leave the property or I'd call security. She made quite a scene. Threatened to sue us, said we'd regret crossing her family. Amanda paused. Miss Chen, I don't know what you're planning for Saturday, but whatever it is, you have the full support of our staff. No one tries to scam our venue and gets away with it. Lily felt something warm bloom in her chest. Thank you, Amanda. That means more than you know. One more thing. We have full video surveillance of the estate, including the parking lot and entrance. If you need footage of anything that happens on Saturday, you'll have it. Perfect. That night, Lily received a text from an unknown number. When she opened it, her heart nearly stopped. It was a photo of her wedding dress, the one hanging in her closet at home. Someone had taken a picture of it and sent it to her with a message. Won't be needing this anymore. Thanks for the early wedding gift, sis. I'll look beautiful in it. Rachel had broken into her apartment and stolen her $12,000 wedding dress. Lily stared at the photo for a long moment, then did something that would have surprised her sister. She laughed. Actually laughed, loud enough that the people in the hotel room next door probably heard her. Because Rachel had just made a critical, beautiful mistake. She'd committed burglary, documented it with a photo, and sent the evidence directly to Lily. And more importantly, she'd revealed exactly what she was planning to do on Saturday. Lily forwarded the photo to Marcus with a simple message. Add breaking and entering to the list. His response came back immediately. Screenshot this conversation and save it. Don't delete anything. She spent the next hour changing every lock on her apartment remotely through her smart home system, ensuring Rachel couldn't get back in. Then she called a security company and had cameras installed throughout the apartment with live monitoring. If Rachel tried to come back, Lily would have video evidence. Her phone buzzed with another message, this time from Derek. I hope you're not planning anything stupid for Saturday. Just let this go, Lily. You're embarrassing yourself. She didn't respond. Let him think she was broken, defeated, too humiliated to fight back. Friday morning, 24 hours before the wedding, Lily woke up to a group chat notification. Rachel had created a new chat called Derek and Rachel's Big Day and added 50 people to it, including all the original wedding guests. Rachel's message: Hi everyone. I know this is unexpected, but Derek and I have fallen in love and we've decided to get married tomorrow at Ashford Estate. We hope you can all still make it to celebrate with us. Same time, same place, just a different bride. Love wins. Lily read the message 3 times, disbelief warring with something that felt almost like admiration for the sheer audacity. They were trying to steal her entire wedding. Not just Derek, not just the relationship, but the actual event, the venue, the guests, everything. Responses started flooding in. Wait, what? Is this a joke? Where's Lily in all this? Rachel's response: Lily's been so gracious about everything. She wants us to be happy and she's giving us her blessing. She even insisted we use the venue since it's already paid for. Jennifer immediately texted Lily privately. She's out of her mind. Half these people know you well enough to know this is insane. But the other half, Lily noticed, were responding with congratulations. People who didn't know her well, who just saw a romantic story about unexpected love. Derek's friends and family, who probably believed whatever version he'd told them. Lily took a screenshot of every message in the chat and sent them to Marcus. Then she responded in the group chat, her first public statement since everything had fallen apart. I'm glad everyone can still make it tomorrow. It's going to be a day no one forgets. Let them interpret that however they wanted. Rachel responded immediately with 3 heart emojis, probably thinking Lily was surrendering, giving them her blessing, too broken to fight. She had no idea that in 24 hours, she'd be standing in a dress she'd stolen, in a venue she couldn't afford, in front of 200 witnesses, about to experience the worst day of her life. And Lily would be there to watch every second of it. Saturday morning arrived with perfect weather, the kind of crystalline autumn day that seemed designed for weddings. Ashford Estate looked exactly as Lily had planned it 6 months ago. White roses climbing the stone archways, crystal chandeliers reflecting morning light through the ballroom windows, tables set with ivory linens and gold-rimmed china. 200 guests began arriving at 11, dressed in formal wear, most of them confused but curious. Some had received Rachel's group chat message, others had only gotten the original invitation from Lily. The parking lot filled with expensive cars, and people clustered in small groups, whispering, trying to figure out what was actually happening. Derek arrived at 11:30 in a tailored tuxedo Lily had paid for, looking confident and relaxed. His groomsmen surrounded him, laughing at some joke, taking photos on the estate grounds. He waved at guests like he owned the place, like this was his wedding, his venue, his celebration. At 11:40, a white limousine pulled up to the main entrance. Rachel stepped out wearing Lily's stolen wedding dress, the $12,000 gown fitting her perfectly because she and Lily were the same size. She'd had her hair and makeup done professionally, probably at a salon Lily had originally booked for herself. She looked radiant, triumphant, like a woman who'd won everything she'd ever wanted. Jennifer, standing near the entrance as part of Lily's plan, sent a quick text. She actually wore it. The audacity. Lily, watching from a private room upstairs via the security camera feeds Amanda had given her access to, smiled. Good. Let her enjoy it for the next 20 minutes. Guests began filing into the ceremony space, a glass-walled pavilion overlooking the estate's gardens. The musicians Lily had hired started playing, filling the air with classical strings. Everything was proceeding exactly as it should for a wedding, except the bride and groom thought they were stealing someone else's day. Amanda Reeves approached Derek near the pavilion entrance, her expression professionally neutral. Mr. Morrison, we need to verify some final details before we begin. It's all set, Derek said dismissively. Lily took care of everything. Yes, she did. I just need you to sign the final contract confirming financial responsibility for today's event. Derek frowned. I thought it was already paid for. The deposit was paid. The balance of $147,000 is due before the ceremony begins. Standard procedure. Derek's face went pale. $147,000? The total event cost was $287,000. Miss Chun paid a deposit of $140,000. The remainder is due now. Amanda held out an iPad with the contract displayed. But Lily said, Rachel told me. Derek fumbled for words. Rachel appeared at his elbow, her face sharp with suspicion. What's going on? Amanda repeated the information calmly, professionally. Rachel's expression shifted from confusion to anger to panic in rapid succession. This is ridiculous, Rachel snapped. Lily's giving us this wedding. She said so in the group chat. I have no record of Miss Chun authorizing a transfer of financial responsibility, Amanda said. Do you have documentation of this agreement? Derek and Rachel exchanged looks. They had nothing in writing because Lily had never agreed to anything. They'd simply assumed, based on Lily's brief message in the group chat, that she was surrendering everything to them. We can't pay that, Derek said, his voice dropping. We don't have that kind of money. Then I'm afraid we cannot proceed with the ceremony, Amanda said. Our policy is very clear. Wait, Rachel said desperately. Just wait. Lily will be here, she confirmed everything. Miss Chun is already here, Amanda said. She's been here since 9 this morning. At noon exactly, Lily walked into the pavilion where 200 guests were seated, waiting for a ceremony to begin. She wasn't wearing a wedding dress. She wore a tailored black pantsuit, Valentino, the kind of outfit she wore to close business deals worth millions. Her hair was pulled back severely, her makeup minimal, her expression calm and controlled. The room went silent as she walked to the front where Derek and Rachel stood frozen, still in their wedding attire, still believing somehow they could salvage this. Lily picked up the microphone the officiant had been about to use. Thank you all for coming today. I know there's been some confusion about what we're celebrating, so I wanted to clarify a few things. Derek stepped toward her. Lily, don't do this. Don't embarrass yourself. She looked at him, really looked at him, and felt nothing. No love, no anger, just cold assessment of a man who'd revealed himself to be small and greedy and ultimately not worth her time. I'm not the one who should be embarrassed, she said into the microphone. 2 weeks ago, I discovered that my fiancé had been having an affair with my sister for 6 months. I found them together in a hotel room I had paid for, planning how they would access my money after we got married. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Phones came out immediately, dozens of them, recording. Rachel's face flushed red. You're lying. You're just bitter because Derek chose me. Chose you, Lily repeated. Is that what we're calling it? She pulled out her phone and connected it to the venue's sound system, something Melissa had helped her set up that morning. Let me show everyone what choosing looked like. The screens on either side of the pavilion, meant to display wedding photos, lit up instead with text messages. Derek's messages to Rachel. Once we're married, half of everything is mine. Community property, baby. Rachel's response. What about the prenup? Derek. There isn't one. I told her prenups were for people who don't trust each other. She ate it up. The crowd's murmuring grew louder. Lily scrolled to the next screenshot. Rachel to her friends. Lily's so pathetic. Always trying to buy people. Well, this time she's buying herself a divorce and me a rich husband. More messages appeared. Plans to steal vendor refunds. Derek discussing his retirement plan with his college roommate. Rachel bragging about landing the sister upgrade. Stop it! Rachel shouted, her voice shrill. Those are private messages. You can't just... They stopped being private when you used them to plan fraud, Lily said calmly. She advanced to the next slide. Bank records showing the attempted credit card application in Lily's name. This is identity theft. A federal crime. Marcus Webb stood up from his seat in the third row. For the record, I'm Lily's attorney, and we have already filed a police report regarding the fraudulent credit application and the breaking and entering that occurred yesterday. Rachel's eyes went wide. Breaking and entering? I didn't. You sent me a photo of yourself with my wedding dress, Lily said. A dress you stole from my apartment. That's burglary. You documented your own crime and sent me the evidence. The screens changed again, this time showing the photo Rachel had sent. Her holding up the dress with the message, "Thanks for the early wedding gift, sis." Jennifer stood up from her seat. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Lily's cousin. I've watched Rachel manipulate and use people our entire lives. And I've spent the last week documenting everything she's done, including attempting to scam every vendor here by impersonating Lily and the wedding planner. Melissa Chang rose from her seat near the back. I can confirm that Rachel Morrison contacted me and multiple vendors attempting to cancel services and reroute refunds. We have recordings of those calls. The crowd was in full chaos now. Guests were standing, talking over each other, recording everything. Derek's groomsmen looked stunned. Rachel's friends were edging toward the exits. Derek tried to grab the microphone from Lily. This is insane. You're humiliating yourself. Just let us go and we can all move on. Lily stepped back, keeping the microphone out of his reach. Move on? You mean like you moved on to planning a honeymoon in Santorini using the reservation I booked and paid for? She displayed the email from the resort showing Derek's attempt to change the names on the booking. Or move on like how you told everyone I was having a breakdown so you could control the narrative. More screenshots appeared. Derek's social media posts, Rachel's group messages, all of it painting Lily as unstable while they position themselves as star-crossed lovers. Lily's mother stood up from her seat, her face red with anger. But before she could speak, Jennifer cut her off. Aunt Patricia, before you defend Rachel like you always do, you should know that I have text messages from Rachel calling you pathetic and saying she can't wait to cut you off when she has access to Lily's money. Their mother's face went from red to white. That's not... Rachel wouldn't. I absolutely have those messages, Jennifer said. Want to see them? Rachel was shaking now, tears streaming down her face, but they looked more like rage than remorse. You can't do this to me. This is my wedding day. No, Lily said, her voice cutting through the chaos like a blade. This is my wedding venue, paid for with my money, executed by vendors I hired, attended by guests I invited. You just tried to steal it like you've tried to steal everything else. She turned to address the crowd directly. I want everyone here to understand something. I didn't bring you all here today to watch me get married. I brought you here to witness what happens when people assume kindness is weakness, when they mistake generosity for stupidity, and when they think they can take everything from someone without consequences. The screens changed one final time, showing a legal document. This is a restraining order against both Derek Morrison and Rachel Morrison. They are not to contact me, approach my home, or attempt to access any of my financial accounts. This is also a civil lawsuit for fraud, attempted identity theft, burglary, and emotional distress. Marcus stood again. The police are actually on their way. We timed this presentation specifically so they would arrive as we finished. As if on cue, 2 police cars pulled into the estate's circular driveway, visible through the pavilion's glass walls. Rachel grabbed Derek's arm. Do something. You said you had a plan. You said this would work. Derek was staring at Lily like he was seeing her for the first time, finally understanding that the woman he thought he could manipulate and discard was someone else entirely. Who are you? He whispered. The Lily I knew would never... The Lily you knew never existed, Lily said. You saw what you wanted to see. Someone lonely enough, insecure enough, desperate enough to be controlled. You both did. But that woman was never real. She set down the microphone and turned to Amanda. You can bring the officers in now. As police entered the pavilion, as Rachel started screaming about injustice and Derek tried to lawyer-speak his way out of everything. As guests recorded every second on their phones, and the story began spreading across social media in real time. Lily walked calmly out of the pavilion. Jennifer caught up with her on the garden path. That was the most savage thing I've ever witnessed. It was necessary, Lily said. They needed to understand that actions have consequences. Your mother left during the police part. She looked destroyed. She made her choice, Lily said. She's been making it my whole life. Behind them, they could hear Rachel still shouting. Could see officers separating her and Derek. Could watch the complete destruction of two people who thought they could steal someone's life without paying for it. And Lily felt nothing but relief that it was finally over. That the truth was finally out. And that she never had to pretend to be smaller than she was ever again. If you're invested in seeing how this ends, make sure you're subscribed because the final chapter reveals just how far the consequences reach and what Lily builds from the ashes of the life they tried to burn down. 6 months later, Lily sat in her new office on the 42nd floor of a downtown skyscraper, reviewing contracts for her latest venture. Through the floor-to-ceiling windows, the city spread out below her like a promise, all glass and steel and possibility. Her phone buzzed with a news alert. She almost ignored it, but the headline caught her attention. Former tech sales director sentenced to 18 months for fraud conspiracy. Derek's face filled the screen, looking nothing like the confident man who'd walked into Ashford Estate thinking he'd steal a wedding. He looked tired, defeated, significantly less polished in his public defender's borrowed suit. The article detailed his guilty plea to multiple counts of attempted fraud and conspiracy to commit identity theft. Rachel had taken a plea deal too, receiving probation and community service in exchange for testimony against Derek. The comments section was brutal. Their story had gone viral that day at the estate, spread across every social media platform, dissected by legal commentators and relationship experts, turned into a cautionary tale about greed and betrayal. Neither of them could escape it. Every job application, every new relationship, every attempt to move forward would be shadowed by what they'd done. Lily closed the article without finishing it. Their consequences were no longer her concern. Jennifer appeared in her doorway carrying coffee and a knowing smile. You saw the news? Briefly. He's going to prison, Lily. Actual prison. I know. Lily accepted the coffee. How are the Rising Phoenix applications coming? Jennifer's smile widened. We've had 300 women apply this month alone. The foundation is making a real difference. Rising Phoenix, Lily's nonprofit organization, provided resources for women escaping financial abuse and manipulation. Funded entirely by Lily's personal wealth, it offered legal assistance, career counseling, and emergency support for women who'd been controlled, stolen from, or deceived by partners or family members. The foundation had launched 3 months after the wedding disaster, born from Lily's realization that her experience, while dramatic, wasn't unique. Schedule interviews for the top 50 candidates, Lily said. And make sure we're partnering with that employment agency we discussed. These women need more than sympathy. They need opportunities. After Jennifer left, Lily's personal phone rang. Marcus Webb. I have news, he said. The civil suit settled. Derek's family paid the full amount to avoid trial. $200,000 in damages, plus all your legal fees. Lily had sued for the emotional distress, the wedding expenses, the attempted fraud. She'd won, or rather, Derek's wealthy parents had paid to make it disappear before more publicity destroyed their family name completely. Donated to Rising Phoenix, Lily said. All of it. You're sure? That's a significant amount. I don't want their money, Marcus. I want it to do something useful. She hung up and turned back to her computer, where an email waited from someone she hadn't expected to hear from, her mother. The subject line read simply, I'm sorry. Lily stared at it for a long moment before opening it. Lily, I know I have no right to ask for your forgiveness. I've spent 6 months thinking about everything that happened. About all the times I chose Rachel over you, about how blind I was to who she really was and who you've always been. Jennifer showed me things, messages and evidence I couldn't deny anymore. I was wrong about everything. About you, about Rachel, about what really matters. I don't expect you to respond to this. I just needed you to know that I see you now. I see what you've built, who you've become. And I'm ashamed it took me this long to recognize my own daughter. Mom, Lily read it twice, then saved it to a folder without responding. Maybe someday she'd be ready for that conversation. Maybe not. Either way, she'd learned that her worth didn't depend on her mother's approval. A knock on her office door pulled her attention. Amanda Reeves from Ashford Estates stood there looking professional and slightly nervous. Miss Chen, I hope I'm not intruding. I was in the building for a meeting and thought I'd stop by. Of course. Come in. Amanda sat down, looking around the office with appreciation. I wanted to tell you something. After what happened at the estate that day, we had dozens of inquiries from women who'd seen the videos online. Women who wanted to know if we'd help them expose their own situations. Did you? We can't exactly make a business out of revenge events, Amanda said with a slight smile. But we did start referring people to legal resources and support organizations, including yours. Rising Phoenix has already helped 2 women I personally connected with you. I'm glad. I also wanted to say that what you did that day was extraordinary. A lot of people would have just canceled everything and tried to hide. You turned your pain into power. That takes courage. After Amanda left, Lily stood at her window watching the sunset paint the city in shades of gold and amber. She thought about the woman she'd been 6 months ago, so desperate to be loved that she'd ignored every warning sign, so afraid of being alone that she'd funded a relationship with someone who saw her as a transaction rather than a person. That Lily was gone. She'd been burned away in the fire of public humiliation and rebuilt into someone stronger, clearer, less willing to shrink herself to fit into someone else's vision of who she should be. Her phone buzzed again. This time it was a message from someone new, a woman named Dr. Sarah Kim, who ran a venture capital firm focused on women-led startups. Lily, I saw you speak at the tech conference last month. Your insights on strategic investment were brilliant. I'd love to discuss a potential partnership. Are you available next week? Lily smiled and typed back a confirmation. This was her life now. Building, growing, connecting with people who valued her mind and her vision rather than her bank account. She joined 2 more corporate boards, launched a mentorship program for young women in business, and started speaking publicly about financial literacy and recognizing manipulation in relationships. The story of what happened at Ashford Estate had made her famous in ways she'd never intended, but she'd chosen to use that visibility for something meaningful. Every interview she gave, every panel she sat on, every speech she delivered carried the same message. Your worth is not determined by who loves you or who leaves you. It's determined by how you value yourself. 3 weeks later, Lily attended a gala for Rising Phoenix's official launch event. The ballroom was filled with successful women, survivors, advocates, and allies. Jennifer had organized everything perfectly, and the foundation had already raised $2 million in commitments. As Lily stood at the podium preparing to give her speech, she saw familiar faces in the crowd. Marcus Webb, Amanda Reeves, Melissa Chong, even some of the vendors who'd supported her during those terrible 48 hours. These were her people now, chosen family who'd stood with her when everything fell apart. 6 months ago, Lily began. I thought my life was ending. The man I loved betrayed me. My sister tried to steal everything I'd built. And for a moment I believed them when they said I was pathetic, that I'd been trying to buy love, that I deserved what happened to me. The room was silent, attentive. But here's what I learned in those dark hours. When someone tries to tear you down, they're usually revealing their own weakness, not yours. When someone steals from you, they're admitting they could never build what you have on their own. And when someone betrays you, they're showing you exactly who deserves your energy and who doesn't. She paused, meeting eyes around the room. Rising Phoenix exists because I refuse to let that betrayal define me. I refuse to hide in shame or accept the narrative that I was foolish for being generous. And I refuse to believe that my worth was tied to whether or not someone chose to value it. Applause started building. This foundation will help women who've been where I was. Manipulated, stolen from, made to feel small by people who should have lifted them up. We're going to provide legal support, career resources, and most importantly, community. Because the best revenge isn't destruction, it's reconstruction. It's building something so beautiful, so powerful, so undeniably yours that no one can ever take it away. The applause became thunderous. Women stood, some with tears in their eyes, some nodding in recognition of their own stories reflected in hers. Later that night, alone in her apartment, the new one she'd bought after selling the place where Rachel and Derek had betrayed her, Lily looked at herself in the mirror. She saw someone different than the woman who'd stood in that hotel hallway 6 months ago. Stronger, yes, but also softer in some ways. More willing to trust the right people, more careful about protecting herself from the wrong ones. Her phone lit up with a message from Jennifer. "You killed it tonight." Dad would be proud. Lily's father. The man who'd tried to stay in her life despite her mother's interference. Who'd left her not just money but lessons about value and worth and building something that mattered. He'd been gone for 8 years, but she felt his presence in the choices she made. In the business she built. In the way she refused to let other people's limitations become her own. She typed back, "Thank you. For everything." As she prepared for bed, Lily thought about Derek and Rachel one final time. They'd tried to steal her wedding, her money, her dignity. Instead, they'd given her something far more valuable: clarity. The absolute certainty that she was capable of surviving anything. That her strength didn't come from who loved her, but from who she was when everything else fell away. Derek was serving time in a minimum security facility, his reputation destroyed, his career over. His family's money gone to lawyers and settlements. Rachel was living in a studio apartment across the country. Working retail, her social media accounts deleted after the harassment became too much. Her friendship circles dissolved once people realized what she'd done. Their mother had tried to reconcile with Lily twice more, but Lily had gently declined. Some relationships weren't worth salvaging, and that was okay. She had Jennifer, Marcus, Amanda, and a growing network of genuine connections. That was enough. The best revenge, Lily had discovered, wasn't watching them suffer. It was building a life so fulfilling, so purposeful, so authentically hers that their betrayal became nothing more than a footnote in a much larger story. She'd gone into that wedding venue expecting to be humiliated. She'd walked out having reclaimed her power. And in the months since, she'd turned that power into something that helped others do the same. If someone tries to destroy you, remember this: they're handing you the opportunity to show the world what you're really made of. Don't waste it on revenge. Use it to build something they could never imagine, something so brilliant that their betrayal becomes the catalyst for your greatest transformation. That's not just victory. That's evolution. And it's the kind of success no one can ever steal from you. Subscribe if this story reminded you that your worth isn't determined by who stays or who leaves, but by who you choose to become when the dust settles.